I've avoided talking about this for some time on video, but I think it's about time that we talk about Battlefield 6 versus Black Ops 7. Now, unlike a lot of people on the internet, I'm not going to be shilling for just one game or the other. I'm going to be looking at this through I'm not going to call it like an objective lens, because I really don't like when people use that term, because it's not true. When you're critiquing a game, it's hardly ever just purely objective. That being said, man, it's been really annoying seeing a lot of these cucks for either side going back and forth like, no, Black Ops 7's better. No, Battlefield 6 is better. I can't wait for Black Ops 7 to crush Battlefield 6. I can't wait for Battlefield 6 to crush Black Ops 7. And they just keep going back and forth. Here's the way that I see it. I'm going to give you the TLDR version, and then we're going to dive like a little bit deeper into it. If you want a more grounded, realistic, sandboxy, large-scale warfare, like milsim type game, I'm not saying that Battlefield's necessarily a milsim, but, just more realistic. If you want a game like that with all sorts of destruction and vehicles and all this, like, open map chaos, then Battlefield is the one for you. But if you want that twitchy, fast-paced, arcadey shooter that's like 6v6, really fast action, you ramp up your streaks and everything, go for like, master prestige and go through the camo grinds and everything like that, then Black Ops 7 is going to be the game for you. It really just depends. Do you want that more large-scale warfare type game where that's what the game's mainly about, with more sandboxy elements like that, where the gameplay feels a bit more like free, I guess, sort of in the same way, the same sort of vibe you get from Minecraft, where it's like, sure, there's a goal of maybe going and killing some mobs, but really you can still mess around in between that? Or do you want something a bit faster that's mainly just all about the gameplay? And that being said, Black Ops 7 is going to have a mode like that. It's going to be skirmish, 20v20, but obviously that's nothing compared to Battlefield 6, where it's like, what? It used to be 32v32 in the old games, isn't it? Like 64v64 nowadays? I'm sorry, I don't know the exact, like player counts off the top of my head. All I know is that from my experience, there was a lot of players in each Battlefield 6 match. Obviously, Battlefield has always had like TDM type modes as well, so that's also in the game, but it's obviously a lot different from like Call of Duty's, for example. So basically, yes, even though Battlefield and Call of Duty are technically a part of the same genre, they are two completely different games, so that's kind of like where the conversation starts for me. I feel like they are two completely different games, even though yes, they are within the same genre. It's like saying, oh yeah, just because chicken nuggets and, Big Macs come from the same restaurant, I mean, sure, yes, you can maybe compare their differences, but they are two completely different things, right? Like a McNugget compared to a Big Mac. You can't really compare these things in a fair manner because they're two completely different things at their core, even though yes, they came from the same restaurant. In this case, the restaurant would be like the FPS genre. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, this is where my bias starts to come into play, because don't get me wrong, I adore the Battlefield games, man. Let me tell you guys something. I am an OG with the Battlefield franchise. We're talking Battlefield 2 on the original Xbox. We're talking Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, going up through all those games. I put so much time into Battlefield 1 when that came out. Actually, my time between Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1 for a while was actually split. I just kept going back and forth because I really loved both the games that year. Having a World War I game versus like a really futuristic Call of Duty was such an awesome dynamic and contrast. That being said, even though I do love Battlefield, yes, I won't lie, I do have a bit of a bias towards Call of Duty just because this kind of gameplay does appeal to me a bit more than Battlefield's. That being said, like, I love Battlefield. Like, don't get me wrong, I still really do enjoy those games. It's just that if I'm sitting down in the evening after a long day, I'm definitely going to gravitate more towards Call of Duty's style of play. But again, that's not to say that one is inherently better than the other. It literally just comes down to preference. Like, do you like bigger scale, slower matches, or do you want something smaller and faster? It really doesn't matter. It just comes down to your preference and your mood at that moment. Now, here's the part where I'm actually going to praise Battlefield and say that I like something that Battlefield is doing more than Call of Duty this year, and that is the fact that they have a single-player campaign. For me, the single-player campaign in Call of Duty has always been one of my favorite aspects of the game, and the fact that Black Ops 7 is a sequel to Black Ops 2, had me really excited for the story, but the fact that it's primarily co-op driven has me a little worried, and actually has me more looking forward to the campaign in Battlefield 6, because I am going to be picking up Battlefield 6. I mean, I already pre-ordered, Black Ops 7, and I will be pre-ordering Battlefield 6 before the full game releases, because I am, again, genuinely just really looking forward to playing through both games. But that being said, I am looking forward to the campaign more in Battlefield 6. I'm not sure how the solo elements are going to work in Black Ops 7. I believe they said you can still play it solo, but again, the final mission of the game, from what they're saying, is like basically just completely multiplayer based. I got best play. We're going to stop and admire this for a second. There's a 1. There's a 2. Get a clean reload, spin around, get him with the 3, climbs through the window, get him with a 4, and then I'm pretty sure there was a 5th out here, right? Yeah, there it is. Lock in on him. Dude, that was such a clean best play. So yeah, man, that's the one aspect where I really got to give it to Battlefield. The fact that, well, first off, the fact that they're actually having a campaign again after 2042, thank God for that. But also, yeah, man, I am really excited to play through that campaign, because for me, single player games are just way more immersive than co-op type experience, typically speaking. Like, even in a game, like, for example, that has co-op, like Borderlands, I still feel more immersed in the game when I'm playing it solo compared to when I play it with other people. And while, yes, it's just a Call of Duty campaign, campaign, and they tend to be a bit shorter anyway. I still really do like getting immersed into these stories, like the Modern Warfare games and the Black Ops games and whatnot. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not writing off the Black Ops campaign per se. It's just that I kind of wish they maybe would have made it more solo-driven, but I'm still gonna reserve judgment and reserve making my final call on that until I can actually play it for myself, which is another aspect of this whole debate that I really wanted to talk about. It's kind of silly for people to be talking smack on either game when they haven't played either one yet, at least in their complete state. There was people that were talking smack on Black Ops 7 before the beta even released for people to actually play the game, and it was just kind of weird. You know, I always say it's like, it's sort of like judging a filet mignon before you actually taste it. It's like, oh, it's a little burnt on this one edge, or it just, you know, it's not the exact color I was expecting, so I don't know, man. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna eat that filet mignon. But then they take it a step further and actually start judging the filet mignon and saying that the filet mignon is bad and that it tastes bad. But how can you say that something tastes bad if you've never tried it? It's just really strange, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, when you apply that logic to literally anything else, it doesn't make sense. It's sort of like saying, oh, the Mona Lisa is a terrible painting even though you've never looked at it. It's like, oh, I've heard about the Mona Lisa and I've heard certain things about the colors that are present in that painting, but I've never looked at it. Yeah, but even still, I'm just gonna say that it's crap. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna be honest, the only type of people that would really do that is honestly just a person with a low IQ. So I'm sorry, but if you're that type of person, you probably have a low IQ. Seeing gameplay is not the same thing as playing the game itself. There is another compliment that I will give Battlefield. If it wasn't for Battlefield, we probably wouldn't have had skill-based matchmaking removed in Black Ops 7, so thank you, Battlefield. I'm very thankful. Now, there is one more aspect to all of this where things get a bit murky, because we have heard inklings of, isn't there like a Battle Royale coming to Battlefield 6? So I don't really know how I really want to talk about this, because I don't know if that Battle Royale is going to be exclusive to Battlefield 6, and then like if it's going to get dropped off, because if you remember anything about what happened the last time Battlefield tried to do a Battle Royale type thing, yeah, it didn't really work out. So if you're looking for the premium first-person shooter, you know, like Battle Royale experience, I would say that Call of Duty Warzone is still going to be the way to go, probably. We'll see, right? Like, at least for the foreseeable future, you know, we'll see when it actually releases. I'm just saying, if history repeats itself, that may be the case. I don't want that to be the case. Really, in the grand scheme of things, and we're going to get to this in a minute, I mean, I kind of already touched on it, but I want both games to succeed. I don't want Battlefield to win, and I don't want Black Ops 7 to win. In my happy world, I would have both games sell the same amount of copies, and I would have both fan bases be happy. It's like, hey, Battlefield fans are enjoying Battlefield, COD fans are enjoying COD, and that's about it. You know, it's kind of weird. It's sort of like the console wars. It's like, why fight about which one you think is subjectively better to you when you could just play the one that you actually enjoy? Like, why spend the time hating on something when that takes so much more time and energy than it does to actually just engage with the thing that you do like and enjoy? You know what I mean? Like, your time at the start is finite. So you're using that finite time. You're taking away that finite time that you could spend engaging with the thing you do actually like to engage with something you don't. I'm sorry if this is a little rude. Actually, I'm not. You're a moron if you do that. So in terms of the Battle Royale, it gets a little spotty, but again, Warzone's kind of its own thing outside of Black Ops 7, so I'm trying to be careful how much I compare those two things, and that's just one of those things where we'll kind of have to see what happens when it happens. But there is one thing that I'm going to say, Black Ops 7, like, there's no debate about this, completely has over Battlefield 6, and that is Call of Duty Zombies. Call of Duty Zombies alone is one of the reasons that I've always viewed Call of Duty as being a more, I don't want to say a more complete package, but rather a more appealing package to me overall, because Zombies is such a huge part of why I love Call of Duty. I've been playing COD Zombies since World at War when it was first brought into the game, and, you know, dude, I mean, just here in the beta, having that survival map, Zombies in this game already feels amazing as is, but once we finally get Ashes of the Damned, as well as the DLC maps throughout the seasons, and the rest of the survival maps, like, dude, we are eating good this year. We got the original crew back, but it's a new version of the original crew, and they're combining with the Black Ops 6 crew, which was already pretty solid in itself. Like, dude, we are so stacked for Zombies this year. Like, literally, just after playing Van Dorn Farm, it already feels like a blend of, like, Black Ops 2 Zombies, Black Ops 3 Zombies, but with some modern Zombies mechanics. We also got the classic mode coming back with Cursed. Like, dude, we are so freaking stacked with Zombies this year. It is not even funny, and I'm sorry, but that is the one thing that Call of Duty, you know, like again, there's no debate about this. It completely has that over Battlefield. Like, Battlefield doesn't have a horde mode in any kind, and I'm not saying that I want Battlefield to have zombies or anything like that. Like, you know, I wouldn't want some, like, soulless ripoff here where they're just putting it in for the sake of it and they wouldn't support it or something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine if Battlefield just, you know, focuses, because, I mean, Battlefield's always been a bit more realistic, too, so it makes sense that they just hone in on, like, what, the Battle Royale type thing, the multiplayer and the campaign and stuff like that. But yeah, again, that is the one thing where Black Ops 7 automatically appeals to me a bit more in that way. But beyond all that, again, I feel like when it really comes down to it, I feel like the Battlefield Battlefield 6 versus Black Ops 7 debate really just comes down to the multiplayer, right? Like, nobody's really comparing the campaigns. Nobody's talking about the battle royales or the zombie modes or anything. It really just comes down to the multiplayer, and it really does just go back to what I was saying before, where you really cannot compare these games. They are two completely different experiences. Again, if you want the fast-paced, twitchy arcade shooter, you got that in Black Ops 7, and now that skill-based matchmaking has been removed from the game, it feels like classic COD all over again, man. Like, some matches yesterday, for example, I streamed for 4 hours, and some matches were really sweaty, and some matches weren't, you know? It was just like classic COD again. That's how it used to be, and that's the same way that Battlefield is right now. Some matches are sweaty, some aren't, because the game has like a server browser and everything, so you can just kind of do your thing. And right now, both games feel amazing. It feels like we're back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, where the matchmaking feels organic. It isn't rigged. It isn't some like artificial thing or scheme going on behind the scenes. You know, both games just feel great to play, and it's amazing. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Battlefield 2042 also like introduce skill-based matchmaking, and it was just like absolutely terrible? Because I remember that was like when Call of Duty was ramping it up, because obviously Vanguard had SBMM, Halo Infinite had SBMM, and you know, it's just like a whole thing. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, Call of Duty's SBMM was always 100 times worse than either of the other games, but still, I mean, I'm just glad that we're getting away from all this SBMM garbage. So again, it just sort of comes down to, like, do you want the overall, you know, like, smaller maps, faster action, just like, you know, you hop in for like 8-10 minute matches, grinding through camos and going for Master Prestige and all that? Or do you want, like, you know, more of like an open sandbox where you can just kind of dive in, mess around with your friends, blow stuff up, and have a good time? And I mean, you can still be competitive in that game, and again, they still do have like TDM type modes, but again, it's just one of those things where it's much more sandboxy. There's much more just like, I don't know, you're just kind of doing your own thing in that game, compared to Call of Duty, where there's like a bit more structure to the gameplay, where it's like, okay, right now we're playing domination, we need to hold this thing down, and yeah, you know, there's objectives in Battlefield as well, but like right now, for example, like, our objective is to cap these flags, anybody gets near it, you shoot it, and you know, that's basically how it goes, and that's just part of the gameplay loop, and the variables just come down to like what kind of players you're playing up against. So here's like the final note that I'll leave you guys with. If you have one subjective favorite over the other, like if you just personally prefer the gameplay of Battlefield or Call of Duty, that is completely okay, but here's one thing that I will say. Wasting your time hating on the other one does nothing. It doesn't help anybody, and it also doesn't hurt anybody. The only person that it hurts is yourself, because you're wasting your own time, and you're just making us all have to read through so much garbage on the internet. Like it's getting kind of draining, man. Like, I make content, and then there's just people like, you know, in my comments, like, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it's been hard to read my comments lately. Like, I haven't really been reading too many of my comments, because I know it's just like a brain-rotted, moronic, low IQ, hive mind garbage. Because really, anybody that engages in that kind of behavior, I really just view as being a complete low IQ moron, and I just really can't get behind it. It just goes back to what I'm always saying about the internet really just being like this hive mind collective of chronically online people that can't think for themselves anymore. It's honestly kind of sad. And there's one final point I want to touch on. Why would you restrict yourself to only one game? Because first off, going back to something I said earlier, like, why would you judge something before you've even played it, first off? But second, again, like, why would you just restrict yourself to one game? Why not just get both games and enjoy both? You know what I mean? I mean, they're so different. It'll be two completely different experiences with, like, a bunch of different modes that are unique to each game and different types of gameplay. Like back in the day, bro, like, people were always like, oh, Call of Duty versus Halo versus Battlefield. I never engaged in those wars. Like, back in the day, people were all like, oh, Battlefield versus COD versus Halo, and I was just sitting there like, oh, yeah, sure, y'all, I mean, like, if y'all want to fight about it, that's cool, but here I am, bro. I was playing Halo Reach, Modern Warfare 3, Battlefield 3, bro. I was living it up. I was playing with all my friends on all those modes. We were just having a damn good time. We were like, hey, you want to mess around on the Warthogs? All right, let's go get on Halo Reach. You want to go quickscope? All right, MW3, 1v1 me, bro. Oh, what's that? You want to set up our crappy iPod touches and record us doing some funny, like, plane stunts on Battlefield 3? Let's do it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, we just had fun on all the different games, you know? Oh, here's me. I got best play again. That's a 1. That's a 2. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a 2. Jump through the window. Huh, that's a 3. And that's a 4. Nice. So yeah, if there's anything that I want you guys to take with you after watching this video, it's don't restrict yourself to just one game this year. Don't fall for the whole stupid Battlefield 6 versus BO7 thing. It's stupid, man. Both games are fantastic. Like, they're both great games. Like, you don't have to pick one or the other. That's so stupid. Just play them both. Just have fun with both. Like, how hard is it? Why only have one fun game when you could have 2 fun games? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person remaining on the internet with, like, a functioning brain that still thinks for itself. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's about it. I know I'm gonna get hate on this video just because I'm not, like, sucking off Battlefield and I'm not just sucking off COD. And, you know, I looked at it from a logical perspective, and I know common sense isn't very common nowadays, and people on the internet don't seem to like logic, but I mean, too bad, get over it. This is my video, this is my channel, and if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, you probably just have a low IQ, because this is literally as logical as it gets, and if you say otherwise, I'm sorry, but you're a moron. Again, if you have a subjective opinion of one favorite over the other, that's fine, but, I mean, that's about it. It's only subjective. But anyway, Battlefield 6 comes out October 10th. I'm very excited to play it, and Black Ops 7 comes out November 14th, and I'm really excited to play that as well. But anyway, as always, a massive shout out, thank you to the patrons and channel members. You get all even the low ball tier, and an even bigger shout out to the Bubble Tim, Alaskan, and Manny, and the biggest shout out to the G2 on which on the Tuesday. Thank you guys so much, just a little legends. I love you. Good on you, Ducky. Arigatou gozaimasu. Have an amazing day, stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.